Welcome to the Tailgate Debate. You're here with Anthony, Zach, Jamie, and Earl.
All right, what's up, fellas? We're back. So we already did our preview of week one. We're getting ready for week two now. So let's go through, talk about some picks for college and pro. So for college, it's going to be week two. For the NFL, it is going to be week one. So I will go through, let's do college first because they play first. And so I'll go through and just summarize who we picked. Stop me if you want to break down the game a little bit, and we'll take a pause and hash it out. First game is Alabama at Texas. We all picked Alabama. I think we all agree that Texas is overrated and Alabama is rolling again, so it shouldn't be competitive. Next game, Wake Forest versus Vanderbilt. I put this on here because it's a kind of similar styles, and I like this Vanderbilt quarterback. I picked Vanderbilt. You all picked Wake. It'll probably be Wake, but I don't care.
Do you think Wake Forest is going to be decent this season, or this is just like a battle of doormats?
No, I don't think it's a battle of doormats. I think Wake will be pretty good in the ACC. I think they would be a doormat in the SEC, and so I think they're going to be in a competitive game with Vanderbilt. I like Vanderbilt right now. I like this quarterback. I'm telling you, when I saw him play, I liked what I saw, and I think Vanderbilt can score some points. And if you can score points, you can play with Wake Forest. Wake Forest doesn't play any defense, so. I think,
if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
That's true. That is kind of funny.
I mean, I'm not going to show on Vandy too much, but they kind of struggle with Elon, so no confidence in them.
Elon's a powerhouse. Look, I took Vandy as because I do like this quarterback. I liked what I saw, but you know what? I'm kind of high on Vandy and the quarterback because of what he did against Hawaii. Hawaii got their ass lit up again by somebody. I don't remember who it was a small school, and they got blown the fuck out. I'm like, holy shit, Hawaii is fucking terrible. Hawaii might be the worst team in college football. I mean, they got lit up. Somebody look up and see who they played because it was nobody.
Keep going.
All right, so Wake it. What?
I said keep going.
I am. Wake at Vandy. I got Vandy. You guys got Wake. Pitt, Tennessee at Pitt. This is the game I'm going to, I hope. We got our tickets. Everything's booked, but we got to make sure that everything works out. We all have Tennessee. And so I think that's going to be a good game. So let's pause there for a minute. Obviously, Notre Dame had the big game last weekend. Tennessee got, as far as we're concerned, us on this podcast, Tennessee's got the big game this weekend. I thought Pitt looked pretty good in their game against West Virginia. I know we recapped it last time. I'm not going to go back through it, but I think this is an important game for us in terms of the direction of our season. I know that you guys think we have to win by a couple of scores. I think we just need to win. I think going into a hostile environment early in the season, we're still working out some bugs. I think to me, this is a game that we just have to win. I would love to see us dominate, blow them out. That would be even better. But I think a win is a win, and I think that's the goal here. And I think we can score more points than they can defensively. I want to see what we can do. I don't think their offense is that good, so we should really be able to keep them contained to some extent. And that's the way I see the game shaking out. I'd like to see us win by 13 or more. What do you guys think? What do you got, Jamie, on this game? Tennessee at Pitt.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that I think Tennessee needs to win by at least 10 for me to feel good about what Tennessee is going to do this year. I don't think, I wasn't impressed with anything that Pitt did. I don't think they have any real, super talented skill players. They're pretty basic, and Slovis he's a scrub. Didn't think he did anything impressive against West Virginia. So I think you guys, in order for you guys to be considered a good team and have a lot of success in the SEC this year, I think you guys really need to control the game from start to finish and win by a, minimum 10. If it's a close game, or if you guys, were to lose that game, it's not going to be a good year for you guys. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Pitt looked very mediocre. They gave up 30 points to West Virginia. we need to go in there and beat their ass. Otherwise, as far as the SEC goes, it's not looking good. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. I think they lost was it Pickett at quarterback? They lost a couple of people on defense to the NFL. We should have beat them last year. Our quarterback missed a bunch of wide open passes. So if we don't go in there and dominate, I think it's gonna be a long year for us.
Yeah, I agree that if we lose, it's going to be a long year. I think anytime you go in a hostile environment, your second game of the season, first real game. I mean, Ball State was a tune-up. That's pretty obvious. And so I think going into a hostile environment, I'll take the win. But I hear you guys. If it comes down to the wire, that's not a good sign. And it's certainly if we lose, we're in a lot of trouble because I think Pitt is a good team. I don't think they're that good. And if we're going to be competitive in the SEC, we need to take care of business against an average team like Pitt. And I do think they're average.
Yeah, I think they have no business being in the top 25. So if we don't knock them out, I think it's a fail.
Agreed. So we all picked Tennessee. So I think most people feel pretty confident with that coming in. We'll see how it goes. And so the next game on the schedule is Kentucky at Florida, which I think this is a pretty exciting game. I know you guys have been high on Kentucky. Certainly, Jamie's been high on Kentucky.
Sorry, is it Kentucky at Florida or Florida at Kentucky?
I got Kentucky at Florida.
Okay.
Unless I wrote it down wrong. Somebody can booth review me real quick. But I got Kentucky at Florida, and Florida is a lot of people are projecting to finish second in the SEC East. So there's a lot of, I would assume, I haven't seen the line yet, but I would assume that Kentucky's going to be favored coming in that game. I watched Kentucky play this weekend. I wasn't impressed against Miami, Ohio. To me, they looked like the same old Kentucky. Dropping passes, quarterback looked okay. Everything looked mediocre. Same old fucking Kentucky that I've always seen. I don't know what the love is about. Now I know we struggled with them last year. We beat them by a field goal. But we're also trying to rebuild. We're in a rebuild mode. So, we weren't supposed to blow the doors off, but I don't see much different than I saw last year from Kentucky. So I'm not that impressed. So Zach and Jamie, you guys pick Kentucky. Earl and I pick Florida. I think what I saw from Florida against Utah, we'll see against Kentucky. I think they'll contain the run. I don't think Levis is that great of a passer. And I think Florida actually wins. I wouldn't say easily, but wins the game. I probably by 10. I don't think Florida really struggles here. I just don't.
I think Florida blew their load last week with Utah. All their luck went out the fucking window. So I think Kentucky's going to take it to them. I think it's going to be a boring ass game to watch. Like probably, 80% run plays from both teams. But Kentucky's going to win an ugly ass game in the swamp.
So you're sticking with Kentucky even after you saw the Utah game, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the Utah game was Utah stepping on their own dick. It wasn't Florida beating them. It wasn't Florida beating their dick. It was Utah stepping on it.
Oh, my gosh. Well, okay, so Utah stepped on their own dick. Florida blew their load. All right, anybody got a Deshaun Watson joke they want to make? Hello. Jamie, you want to go in on this Florida-Kentucky game? You sticking with Kentucky after what you saw from Utah? I know you picked them, so you're sticking with them?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Kentucky. I was trying to think of a dick joke, but I don't have any.
I think that is the joke.
So I think
Dickless.
I think I'll just stick to football. I mean, obviously, I've been pretty high on Kentucky, and I do think that Florida is better than I thought they would be, but I'm still going to stick with Kentucky here.
Are you high on Kentucky because of the quarterback or the whole team? Did you watch them play at all?
A little bit. I seen some of the highlights, and Levis didn't look good from what I seen. He had a pick on their he threw a pick at their own end zone when they were getting ready to go in and score. But yeah, I don't really know too much about their team. I just think the quarterback is pretty solid. He's a good college quarterback. He's dual threat. He's big. He can run. He can pass the ball decent. And then obviously Florida, they have a quarterback who's actually better than I thought he would be too. He's out there making plays. So I think it's going to be a really good game, actually. I think it'll probably be one of the best games of the weekend.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is that Florida really struggled containing the run against Utah, and Kentucky is a run-first offense. And so, if Kentucky gets going with the run, they're going to win. They're going to win. Defensively, I'm not sure what they'll be able to do against Florida if they can contain the run pretty well. It was hard to tell with Kentucky's defense what they're really capable of because Miami, Ohio is just not that good of a team. So Kentucky struggled early, but then tightened up in the second half. Florida doesn't pass the ball very well, at least not in that first game. I get it. I don't know how to really judge that because they've only played one game, and Utah really could be better than we think. And so they might have just had the handle on Florida's passing game. But I wasn't that impressed with Florida's passing, but they ran the ball pretty well. So it's going to be two running teams. And so I guess it's whoever's run defense holds up better. Florida's did not hold up well against Utah. So it'll be an interesting game. I got Florida I said 10, maybe they eke it out a little bit closer now that I'm thinking about it. But I do think that Florida gets it done in the swamp. And I don't believe in Kentucky ever. So, and except when they play Vanderbilt.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Why did you leave Notre Dame off the picks this week?
Oh shit. I don't think I saw them.
This is 2 weeks in a row that you fucked these picks up.
What was the first fuck up?
You left Arkansas, Cincinnati off.
I don't give a fuck. That wasn't a fuck up. I didn't mean to leave Notre Dame off though, but we can still talk about it. We all would have picked them. They're playing Miami, Ohio, right?
Yeah, I know it's a bullshit game, but last week you guys played Ball State and somehow that game got on our week 1 pick. So
I thought you guys had a bye week in all seriousness. I didn't see them on the picks.
in week 2?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I didn't know if you guys would need a break after you got your ass whipped by Ohio State.
Oh yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about.
But before you go off the rails, did you guys see that fucking fat bastard on Florida's defensive line?
His fucking
He was like 420 pounds, they said. Their nose tackle.
I didn't see that, but did you see the fucking offensive lineman on Ohio State? He was like 7 feet tall and his fucking helmet barely fit on his head. We got an illegal hands to the face call because his helmet popped off. And I'm like, you could have fucking looked at that helmet too hard.
Like a fucking Pez dispenser.
Yeah.
That's how the Florida dude looks. He's a nose tackle. He's like 415 pounds. Bastard's out there running around.
There was some dude, I think it was on ECU or App State. One of those teams, might have been ODU, one of those teams that was giving the bigger teams a hard time. And I looked at his helmet and I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with this dude's helmet? Like something looks weird. And then I noticed, so you know how they have the face mask, the part of the helmet that goes around the face, but that same like wire goes above the helmet. So it's all screwed in. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the next time you look at a helmet, look at it. The face guard is there. And then it actually goes all the way up around the rim of the helmet. Right?
Yeah.
His didn't have the top part.
That's a
So
new.
it looked,
It's a new. helmet.
it looked like a protective helmet.
It's a new helmet that they came out with this year, where it doesn't have a bar across the top, right?
It looked stupid as shit.
Yeah.
It looked weird, man. I'm looking at him like, what the fuck's wrong with this dude's helmet? Like he looks off.
Yeah, it's new.
And then, yeah, they need to go back to the old one. That looked terrible.
It almost looks. I don't know. It looks like almost like a hockey helmet almost, because they usually have a visor in them too, right? He had a visor.
He didn't have a visor.
Oh, he didn't.
No, it looked weird as shit, man.
Yeah,
It looked weird.
But like, do you guys remember like what was his name? Mount Cody or whatever, that fat fuck from Alabama?
Terrence
Yeah.
Cody.
Yeah. He was like 370 and he looked disgusting. This dude's like 50 pounds heavier.
That
That
guy,
shit's-
but he didn't look disgusting. He was huge, man.
His fucking stomach was hanging out of his jersey. That shit was gross.
Yeah, but he was big. All those stomachs are hanging out. Those guys are huge. They're on the line. They come to
Yeah.
the territory.
Some of them are in shape. Some of them got spare tires.
There's not too many in shape, man. Most of those are just fat bodies.
Yeah,
But they're still athletic as fuck.
I'm not really grossed out by a lineman's belly hanging out, but I will
Yeah.
tell you, I was at the basketball court with Anthony over the summer
Oh,
that-
what?
when we were at the basketball court and you had on that training bra.
That is a tank top.
That was a sports bra you had on.
Did he have a penny that was too small?
It was he called it his workout shirt. The shirt was three sizes too small, right? And every time he would shoot or raise his hands, you would see the bottom of his nipples. That shirt was tiny.
That's not really true.
He had no business wearing that shit in public.
That's not true. That's my workout shirt. That shit is too small, though. I do agree with that.
Did you get rid of it?
At least he said you jumped during your shot because you clearly fucking don't.
Did you say I got rid of it?
When he was just standing there, his stomach was hanging out.
That's not true. That's not true.
When his hands went up and the shirt flew up, titties were out.
Hey, I'm going motherfucking Mike Gundy. That's not true. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. It was a little too small, but it's not
three sizes. It was literally a minimum 3 sizes too small for you. Do you still have it?
I still have it. Yeah.
Don't you ever invite me to play basketball ever again until you get rid of that shirt.
It's a running shirt, so it's like that real lightweight.
So literally, I had
so it's too small, you motherfucker.
Hey, I showed up to the court and Anthony's there in a fucking sports bra. It was nothing but titties all day.
Hey, listen, my shirt was fine. I got a couple of those shirts, by the way. But that one, I think I washed it and dried it too many times. Shrunk.
That's not the issue.
That's what every fat motherfucker says.
You
it just shrunk.
He also
hey, listen, I'm not fat. I'm just larger than I used to be. That's all.
You have a couple shirts because you also have a shirt that has a orange on it and it says "Go Big."
Go
and
big orange.
And that shirt's also too small for you. So the shirt should say "Go Bigger." You're a fat bitch. And you clearly don't know what size shirt you wear.
I wear XL.
No, there's no fucking way that shirt that you were wearing that day was an XL.
It is an XL. It is
it a crop top?
I washed it and dried it too many times.
Is it a crop top?
You can wear it, but you shouldn't be.
It ain't no crop top. I wear XL. I've been lifting weights. I've been getting bigger.
Is it a women? Is it a women?
All right. So we have Kentucky, Florida.
Yes, that's a legit question. There's no way that's a men's XL shirt.
I guarantee you it is. I'll bet you any amount of money.
Or maybe it's one of Nate's old shirts. Did you get it out of Nate's room?
Come on, man. Come on. That shirt
was it covered in semen?
Come to think of it, there were some stains on it.
That's fucking disgusting.
I didn't know if they were cum stains or if it was from his titties lactating.
Oh my God, that's some fucking bullshit right there. And I saw your fucking fat ass gut, bitch. Your shirt was too small.
Nah, my shit's nice.
No, you had some fucking rolls.
That was the first day out. That was my winter weight.
Okay. Okay. We call it fat in the real world.
Oh, we're gonna call it fat when I have a shirt that's covering my body, but when your shit's hanging out, we're not gonna call it fat.
That's some bullshit. Give me credit for the weight I've lost. You ain't gotta give me credit. Fuck you. All right, here we go.
So I'll be at the game, the Notre Dame Marshall game this week, and I'll be there. I got to get my boys right.
Are you bringing Matthew McConaughey or no?
I'm getting my boys right.
I thought you were playing Miami, Ohio. You're playing Marshall?
Marshall, yeah, we're gonna get back on track.
Oh, for sure. We'll be playing Pitt, so we'll be in a real game. What time do you guys play?
You mean like the game last week against Ball State?
What time do you guys play?
2:30.
2:30 Central?
No, Eastern. And
Okay.
South Bend's Eastern.
Okay.
I
Nobody
thought
cares.
South Bend was Central.
It used to be. They went back to Eastern.
They changed their mind.
Yeah, it just made more sense with the daylight savings, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Nobody fucking cares. All right. So Kentucky and Florida. Me and Earl got Florida. Zach and Jamie got Kentucky. Next game, USC versus Stanford. I don't think this game is all that great. We all have USC. I don't think it's going to be super competitive. Stanford's not been good for several years now. USC's
I was going to say, I think everyone thinks that Stanford has just plummeted. So
yeah,
they weren't good before Harbaugh got there, and they really haven't been good. Well, that's not true. They were still good for about 4 or 5 years after.
Yeah, they had a decent little stretch there, and then they just imploded.
Yeah, they stayed pretty good for a while, but they've really fallen off. They haven't done much in probably the last 5 years. Next, so we all got USC there. Next game, South Carolina, Arkansas. We all got Arkansas. I don't expect South Carolina to put up too much of a fight, although South Carolina had a pretty good finish to their season last season. And we did talk in our last show about Arkansas not really being all that impressive. So I do wonder if Arkansas is a little bit vulnerable for an upset here. So we all went Arkansas. I'm not surprised at all here if South Carolina pulls an upset. You guys feel any different, Jamie?
Yeah, I agree. This was a tough pick for me, actually. I mean, I ended up going with Arkansas just because I think they will win the game, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if South Carolina won this game, just based off of Arkansas not looking great last week, and then South Carolina kind of, trending in the right direction with some of the stuff they've been doing recently.
I wouldn't say South Carolina is trending in the right direction. They struggled with Georgia State. That game was fairly close until the third quarter. So,
okay. Well,
I think South Carolina is very underwhelming. Their coach should probably be fucking fired, and they should probably shut down the program. So,
the coach is doing a good job.
Yeah. The way they went 4-8 last year was fucking awesome.
The problem with your analysis is that you're like all in on whatever your opinion is. So there's no like, well, they could be better, they could be worse. It's either this team is really good or this team can suck my balls. They fucking suck. They should fire everybody and shut it down. There's not a whole lot of lukewarm. It's hot and cold.
Well, even when somebody does something good, like return a kick, he's like ready to get rid of the kid.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know when Zach's going to tell you to suck his balls or kick you off the team.
Right. Right. But really, if you're a good quarterback, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
That guy's a bitch because he threw 7 straight touchdowns.
Yeah, I said he was fucking annoying. I didn't say he sucked. All right.
He's not even annoying either.
He's not.
That shit is annoying when you watch a guy almost get sacked every play, but he never does. That's annoying.
Isn't that his job?
He'd get rid of it faster.
You didn't throw that touchdown fast enough, bitch.
You can't win with Zach.
Can't do it. Can't win with him. Can't do it.
Not when your name is Stetson.
Zach's just like the playoff committee. He can always make the case for why you should suck his balls.
He is like that. As soon as you ask him his opinion, he's like, "Oh, because I said so. Suck my balls."
Yeah, I'm gonna start calling him Herbie.
I'm way more transparent.
Oh my gosh! All right, USC in a walk. South Carolina, maybe according to me and Jamie. Zachary says that's a walk for Arkansas. Missouri at Kansas State. I think this game's pretty interesting. Kansas State's getting a little bit of love, so they should win. But I think Missouri might be able to put up a few points, and I don't really trust the Big 12. So I did go Kansas State, but I think this game might be a little closer than maybe you might think. Any thoughts on this game or not so much? Jamie, you got the
I don't really know much about either team, honestly. I seen some highlights where Missouri, they have a 5-star kid that they got. He's a true freshman, and he was making tons of plays in their week
what
1
position?
game.
What position?
I don't know. Like he was playing, I don't know if he's their quarterback or a running back. I seen him catch a direct snap. So I think he's a running back or like he's a skill player, I think. But he was a 5-star. He was making tons of plays. I don't know anything about Kansas State. I mean, traditionally, they've had good teams here and there. And I don't know if this is a year where they're a good team. I don't know. I just picked Missouri because the kid that I seen making the plays.
All right.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think Kansas State's all over the place. Missouri, kind of schizophrenic. So I took Missouri.
Yeah,
I wouldn't trust them for sure. I wouldn't put any money on it, but I think they'll get it done.
Yeah, we're split on that. I hope Missouri wins just from an SEC perspective, but Missouri, man, they don't look good. They can score some points. It seems like in bunches, I guess. I agree. I think schizophrenic is a good way to describe them. And Kansas State, I'm not super familiar with. I'm basically going off just some things I've heard and what I've seen, but I haven't watched them play in a while. They've been irrelevant for quite some time. But I know that they're getting a little bit of love this year as maybe a bounce back team. I guess finished pretty good last year. I'm not sure. Yeah,
and speaking of calling people cocksuckers, the Missouri, I could not give a fuck about. I wish they would get out of the SEC. I'm not sure why we took them.
Who?
Missouri, they offer nothing. Like their football sucks, their basketball sucks, their academics suck. We should just boot them.
Sound like Jim Mora.
The offense sucked, the defense sucked.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Yeah, Missouri can't do diddly poo. They're fucking terrible.
You picked them.
I mean, it's hard to make that case when they went to the back-to-back SEC title games. I mean, they did. I know the SEC East was really down at that time, but they did. And so you can't really say that they don't deserve to be there. They've been to more title games than we have in the past 10 years.
They're renting out their dorms as hotels because they can't get enough people to stay there. Fuck them.
Okay.
They suck.
You picked them, Zach. You know you picked them.
Yeah, I know. I think Kansas State is even worse.
All right.
But I have zero respect for Missouri. So
He's like, hey, Missouri sucks, and I picked them, so suck my own balls.
Yeah.
Smooth as eggs.
Smooth as eggs. All right. So Duke, Northwestern. I put this on there. I think these are similar type of teams. Me, Earl, and Zach picked Northwestern. Jamie picked Duke. Why Duke? They look really bad lately.
Yeah, they did, and I don't really think Northwestern's very good either. I got to change it up. I got some catching up to do, so I'm thinking Northwestern went. It was a dogfight with Nebraska. Nebraska sucks, so my thinking is just maybe Duke can get a win here.
Okay, I think that's fair enough that you're being transparent, that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're just hoping for an upset, I guess.
I mean, I think both teams are a shit show. So
yeah, it is a team, a game of who sucks the least. Speaking of a game that who sucks the least, let's talk about Virginia Tech and Boston College. These are two teams that took it on the chin this weekend. So Virginia Tech last weekend. Virginia Tech lost to Old Dominion, and Boston College lost to Rutgers. So you pick which one is worse. I don't really know. But these are two teams that absolutely suck. And so who sucks the least is the question. I said Virginia Tech sucks the least. I think they have a bounce back game against the mighty Boston College Eagles. I got Virginia Tech winning. Earl has BC. Zach has Virginia Tech. Jamie has BC. Any rationale or it's just fucking.
Did you skip the Baylor game intentionally, or?
I did, because I had a nice segue to the shitty game. So
okay. Yeah, Virginia Tech, I mean, I don't know. I think they're going to suck slightly less than BC. So that's my only reasoning.
So my thinking was obviously both teams lost in week one, but at least Boston College lost to Rutgers, which Rutgers fucking sucks, but at least they're a Power 5 school. I can't roll with any team that loses to Old Dominion. So that's my reasoning. I'm going BC.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bad look for Virginia Tech. Old Dominion, in fairness, they look pretty good.
Oh my God.
All right, I'm bullshitting. I think Virginia Tech's at home. That's the only reason I picked them. I would have picked the home team no matter who it was.
Yeah, this is another one I would never put any money on either team. I think they're both fucking terrible.
There's no chance.
There's some shitty games this week. Like you're going to a game this weekend. I'm also going to a game this weekend. It was the best week to travel for a game, because if we miss the games and don't get to watch much, we don't really miss out on anything. It's a bad.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to Kentucky, Florida. Obviously, Tennessee Pitt is the game I want to see this weekend. I do think the Alabama-Texas game is interesting. I want to see.
I don't.
Well, let me finish, dumbass.
No.
So I do think that Alabama playing Texas, Alabama's going to roll them, I think. But I'm curious to see how Alabama does against a real opponent. I mean, they played a nobody in the first week with Utah State, and they just blew the doors off. So I just want to see how they play against the Power 5 school. I mean, I don't think Texas is going to put up much of a fight. They're way overrated. But I don't know. I do want. I wouldn't mind seeing the game. It's an interesting matchup. I don't think it'll be close, but I just want to see how Alabama looks against Power 5 school. But the last game that we got is Baylor BYU. BYU.
Before you go to that, I just want to
Yeah.
say about Bama and Texas.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting matchup, like from a historical perspective, but it's going to be a boring ass game to watch. I think Bama's going to beat them 45-3 or something.
Well,
It's not going to be
that's
entertaining at all.
That's what I was going to say. I think you basically see a rerun of what Georgia just did to Oregon. It's going to
Yeah.
be very similar to that, in my opinion.
You think so?
I do.
So even though Texas is top 25, you think they get rolled just like Oregon did?
Yeah, just as
Do you think Texas deserves to be top 25? They were 500 last year.
Hell no. But I can't imagine.
so-
I can't imagine anybody looking as bad as Oregon did. I just can't imagine it.
I think Oregon's a better team than it's tough to say because Bo Nix fucking sucks, but I think Oregon definitely has more talent than Texas does.
How can you say anything positive about Oregon after that showing?
I'm comparing Oregon to Texas. I don't think Texas is any good.
But Oregon, after they look like that, they don't deserve any credit till they at least score a touchdown.
What has Texas done in a decade? Like since Vince Young left and Colt McCoy, they haven't done shit.
I'm not defending Texas. They're overrated too. I'm just saying, like, right now, if you say, hey, who do you think's better between Oregon and Texas? I'm taking Texas just because I can't believe what I saw with my eyes when I watched Oregon play Georgia. It was embarrassing. I'm not taking them for shit. Score a touchdown. Then come back and talk to me. But no, I know Georgia's good. And Georgia, but based on the way they looked at last week in game 1, and who knows what that means going forward. But they look for real. And I'm not taking anything away from that. But the way Oregon played and looked, I'm not giving them anything until they show something different. So I'll take Texas until I see something different from Oregon, because that was fucking embarrassing. And if that's what this coach is bringing to the table, my goodness, fire him tomorrow. I mean, I know they usually give him 3 years, but you might need to give this dude just 3 games and let's roll him on out of there, man. He should just hop on that motorcycle they drive on the field and roll right out with it. Do they still do that? The duck in the motorcycle thing? The duck comes in on the Harley on the field. Do you remember that?
They might have got rid of that just like they got rid of Loud Stadium.
House of Loud. House is stupid. All right. So Baylor BYU is the last game we got on the picks. It's really the second to last, but Zach fucked up my segue. I was trying to be sneaky with it. So Baylor BYU came in as a top 25. They're top 25, right? Are they still in the top 25?
Yeah.
They won. I don't think they had an impressive win, did they?
Yeah, they did.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'll tell you in just a second. Just keep talking.
And either way, Baylor is a pretty big favorite to win the Big 12. So they're pretty high expectations for Baylor. BYU's had a pretty nice offense over the last few years, able to score some points. A little bit undersized, I think, but I don't think that matters against Baylor. I don't think Baylor is super huge. Both teams, I think, are just more kind of high tempo, more offensive minded teams. I like Baylor here. I trust them a little bit more than I do BYU. BYU, I don't think is a big game team. Now in the picks, I got Baylor. Earl's got BYU. Zach has Baylor. Jamie has BYU. So we're split again.
They played at South Florida this weekend and beat them 50-21.
Yeah, I don't think that's all that impressive to give up 21 points. South Florida is one of the worst teams in college football. So, no, I'm not impressed with that. But, it's tune-up. Who knows? So, you guys want to go? Zach, you got Baylor also. Jamie, you got BYU. You guys want to give reasons? We still got to get to the NFL, too, so don't forget.
Yeah, I mean, I think Baylor's going to be a Big 12 champ. I think they've got a good coach, and they're on the rise. And BYU is BYU. I think they're a solid small school, but not talented enough to play with good teams. So
I'm with you, Jamie. You got BYU. Oh, listen. Before you even talk, this bitch took BYU because Notre Dame plays them later in the season, so he wants BYU to win all their games to try to fucking pump up Notre Dame's resume. So go ahead and give us some bullshit that's not that, because that's what it is. Why'd you pick them?
Yeah, I got BYU. They look good in week 1. No. I mean, I think that obviously I do want Baylor to win because Baylor's on our schedule. And
BYU.
Yeah, BYU. And I do think that BYU is a good team. Baylor's also a good team. I think this will be a good game. I pick BYU though.
Do you truly believe that BYU wins, or are you really picking them for your resume? Which I don't blame you. I mean, as a fan, you want your resume to look as good as possible. You took your lumps on week one, so you need to bounce back, right?
Yeah. Don't you ever be rabbit me again.
Be rabbit.
8 Mile. Remember when he fucking basically his rap was everything that his dude was about to say? And he so I mean, I know you're the host of this show and you're running the picks, but don't you ever. Yeah, I mean, basically that's why I picked BYU. In week one, the opponents on our schedule didn't look very good. So I'm hoping that we get a bounce back week. That's also why I picked BC.
I got you. All right. I mean, that's fair enough. I do the same thing with Tennessee. When you got to build your resume, it's what you've got to root for that kind of stuff. So as a fan, you got to do it. All right. So not really, it's not an intriguing weekend of college football. I'm super excited about the Tennessee Pitt game. So we'll see what happens. Week one, I thought was crazy. We already reviewed that, but that was a really great way to kick off the season. That week 0 shit was stupid as fuck. But week 2 is a little bit of a downer after week 1, but it'll get heated up over the next few weeks. So we'll see what happens there. All right, here we go with the NFL. So the NFL is also going to kick off starting Thursday. So I'm just going to run through. We have a lot of similar picks, all 4 of us. Earl obviously isn't on the show tonight, but he did his picks. And so I'm just going to run through the schedule, and then we'll circle back and talk about any matchups that anybody's interested in, if any. I'm much more college focused than I am pros, but there's some headlines in the NFL worth talking about. So we got the Bills and Rams, which I think is a nice matchup. I think that's the Thursday night game. I am looking forward to that game. That should be a pretty exciting game. We all took the Bills except for Zach. You got the Rams. Saints.
Yeah, I think there's a history of the Super Bowl winner winning their opening game. So I'm only basing it on that. I actually think the Bills are a better team, but I think the Rams will take that game just because.
Just because, yeah, I think just the Bills will take the game because just because also. No, I'm just kidding. So I think the Rams are going to fall off big time this year. I didn't think Stafford looked great at the end of last season. He looked aged. And I don't think he's going to have a great season. I think the Rams needed to win the Super Bowl last year, and they did, and the team was great. But I don't think they repeat, and I think you find out in week 1 that they're not going to be the same team they were last year. I think the Bills are pretty legit. And
no, I agree. I agree with you on all accounts. I think the Rams will take that one just because. And Aaron Donald is a fucking monster. So
he is a monster.
It's kind of a bad matchup for Allen, who, creates issues for other teams.
Yeah, I took the Bills. I'm really high on the Bills. That's my Super Bowl pick this year. But if you want to say the Rams win week 1, I mean they're both good teams. I don't see the step back like you do for the Rams. I think they'll be pretty competitive in the NFC this year.
Oh, I think they'll be competitive. They're not repeating. There's no way. And I think they're gonna struggle in a lot of games.
They still have a ton of talent, and they brought in another receiver. So they have Allen Robinson and Cooper Kupp now. So, I mean, I don't really predict too much of a drop off.
It starts with Stafford. I've always been a Stafford fan. I'm not shitting on Matt Stafford at all. I don't think that he looks as good. I think he's aging pretty fast. I don't think he has a good enough season to keep it all together. So it's really about how he declines. And I don't trust that coach at all. I don't trust him at all. So
is it McVay?
McVay, yeah. He's a fucking bum. I can't stand him.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So I don't trust him. So yeah, that's so I'm gonna take the Bills just cause. All right, so game 2. Saints, Falcons. We all got the Saints. Falcons suck. Nothing. We don't, nothing to see here. Let's move on. Niners, Bears. Bears suck. We all got the Niners. Steelers, Bengals. We all got the Bengals. I like the Bengals to win the AFC North. All the Ravens fans. At the party I was at today. They were all talking about the Bengals, and And then they think that they're not going to be as good this year. So they're all Ravens fans. So whatever.
What do you think about the Steelers, just as a sidebar?
I think if the Steelers start Pickett, I think they can be competitive. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they could be competitive with Pickett. I think if they play Trubisky, I think they suck. That's what I think.
The Steelers thing is really if their quarterback position is productive and pans out, whether they start Pickett or Trubisky, the rest of their team is actually pretty good. So like they have a good team. And then as far as the Ravens fans saying that the Bengals won't have a good year, what kind of reasons did they give you, or did they just give you the Zach reason of just cause?
It's kind of the Zach reason. It's the Ravens fans. I understand it. I'm not shitting on it. It's all good.
It's just wishful thinking.
Because just cause works for an individual game, not a whole fucking season.
You can't really point at anything on the Bengals that says they're not going to be as good.
Hey, listen, if you're asking me, I think the Bengals obliterate the Ravens again. I think the Bengals own this division for at least the next 3, 4, 5 years.
As long as Joe Burrow is the quarterback and Lamar Jackson's the quarterback of the Ravens, the Bengals will run that division.
Yeah. And then I think Burrow is a nightmare for the Ravens.
The only person that has a say in that is Deshaun Watson once he comes back from suspension. And the Bengals are far ahead of everybody. And then the only team that I think can compete, I mean, obviously the Ravens have a good run game and a good defense. They're always going to be a good team, but I think they're passed up by the Browns and the Bengals at this point once Deshaun comes back.
Well, I think the Browns are a little bit iffy. I think the Steelers are the doormat of that division right now. And I do think the Ravens always keep a good roster. They always have a good team. I mean, I fuck with the Ravens fans, but they've always have a good team.
The thing
and it's been the quarterback position.
Yeah, the thing with the Steelers, like I'm not high on Pickett. I don't think he'll be any good. But if he does pan out and becomes a good quarterback, the Steelers are right there. That whole division is very competitive. So
I like Pickett. I think Pickett is very good. I think they need to start him. If they do, I like their offense. I don't think they're good enough to compete. I think that's a strong division. The Ravens, as much as I'm not a fan of the coach and I'm not a fan of Lamar at all as a quarterback. He's an amazing athlete, not as a quarterback. I don't think the Ravens are there because of the quarterback situation. I think they're probably tied with the Browns. I give them the edge over the Browns for sure until Watson gets in there. Depends on how Watson looks when he gets back to see if the Browns actually pass the Ravens. But I think what's clear is the Bengals right now are the leader in that division until further notice. So that's my take. I know the Ravens are wishful thinking. I get it. I don't hate on them for that. But I think the Bengals roll them.
Do you think Tomlin is the problem with the Steelers, or the Steelers?
No, I mean, I like Tomlin. I think Tomlin's one of the best coaches in the league.
I agree.
I like him too. I was just curious because they haven't been relevant for a while. So
I think they're old. I think they're essentially rebuilding. I mean, I think they've done pretty well to not completely fall off, but they've really had to change a lot of pieces over the last 5, 6, 7 years. So and Roethlisberger, I do think what I will put on Tomlin and that organization, they let Roethlisberger's fat ass stay way too long. They should have got rid of him and started this quarterback change long ago. He looked pitiful last year.
Well, I think they did because they drafted Mason Rudolph, and that was the guy that they were going to let come next, but he hasn't worked out.
He sucks.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Mason Rudolph sucks. So he's done, right? So this is really between Trubisky and Pickett. Look, we've already seen Trubisky. I don't know why he's getting another starting opportunity. Pickett really is the go-to move. I think. I know Trubisky has experience. I know they probably want to bring Pickett in slowly and let him get some experience, but I don't really I don't give a shit, man. He needs to go. But I deleted my pick. Yeah, I think Pickett is the answer for that offense. And I really do hope he gets a start because I'd like to see him play a little bit and I got the Steelers wide receiver on my fantasy team. All right, so
yeah, I was just curious about your guys' opinions on Tomlin. That's all, because I like him as a coach, but the Steelers have been kind of for a while. That's all.
Yeah, but I don't think as much as they've not had success recently, they've never had a losing season. I don't think under him. So he's an awesome coach.
I think so too. I take Tomlin as a top 5 coach in the NFL.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, I like him, so I just didn't know everybody else did. That's all.
Yeah, not a coaching issue. I don't think, other than that Roethlisberger decision to hold on to him that long. Next is Eagles Lions. We all got the Eagles Lions. They suck. They've always sucked. Okay, we got the Eagles. There's nothing to talk about. Patriots Dolphins. I got the Patriots. Earl has the Dolphins. Zach has the Patriots. Jamie has the Dolphins. I think this is a good matchup. I think a lot of people are wanting to get on this Dolphins train because of the offense. They brought in Tyreek Hill. I like it too. They should be able to score some points. But I like the Patriots. I like Belichick in this situation. I think he can coach them up and get them ready to contain the Dolphins offense. And I like the quarterback for the Patriots. I think he's going to be good. I'm a believer in him. So I got the Pats. What do you guys got to say?
I like the Dolphins in this game. I think the Patriots get off to a slow start this season. And they have it's been going on where they don't really know who's going to be their play caller for this year, the Patriots, and they've had a little bit of issues in training camp and haven't really looked very sharp. So I'm expecting a slow start from them, and I don't know if they get better as the season goes on. But I think the Dolphins have a good team. I think they've given Tua a good line, and he's got weapons everywhere, running backs, receivers. So I think the Dolphins are actually a sleeper team that can actually have a really good season this year.
I don't disagree. Zach, what do you want to talk about the Patriots?
I mean, to me, this is a coin flip game. I just picked the Patriots. I think the Dolphins are a little bit dysfunctional just because it's Miami. So beyond that, I don't have much to say.
I'm drawing a blank on the Patriots quarterback. Who's the damn quarterback?
It's the Alabama guy.
Yeah.
Mac Jones.
Yeah. I like Mac Jones.
Yeah, you always tell us how much you like Mac Jones.
I do.
We know, it's well documented.
All right. Hey, listen, you guys shit on Kenny Pickett every time we bring his name up. I can't give props to Mac Jones. Every time Pickett's name comes up, you're like, yeah, I think he's gonna suck.
I'll never forgive that fake slide. So
yeah, that's sort of sketch. All right, next is the Ravens Jets. I wanted to take the Jets so bad, they just suck too bad. So we all got the Ravens there.
Well, I think Joe Flacco is going to be starting quarterback for that game.
He is.
I wonder if the Ravens fans are worried since Joe's so fucking elite.
No. He's only elite when he plays for them. He's not elite anymore.
Oh, is that how it works?
I think that's how it works. That's what happened with Hollywood Brown too.
That doesn't make any fucking sense, but that does make sense since it's the Ravens fans.
Yeah. Is there a worse managed franchise outside of the Jets and Jaguars?
The Browns.
The Lions. The Lions has been a loser.
I mean, at least the Lions had Stafford and Megatron.
Yeah, but they didn't do shit with them. They had a top quarterback. They had one of the best receivers and the best running back and never won shit. They're the worst.
Yeah.
They're pretty bad. Listen, it's hard to make a case for them being the worst. The Jaguars went to a Super Bowl, didn't they?
No.
They might have, yeah.
No.
With Mark Brunell.
Maybe
they made the conference title game.
Yeah, maybe a conference title.
With who was the bowling ball? Maurice Jones-Drew?
That was before. No. It was what was the guy's name? The running back. It wasn't Maurice Jones-Drew. It was before that.
I don't remember.
Oh, Fred Taylor?
Taylor. Yeah, Fred Taylor.
Either way, they were a good team. I mean, at least they had a few good years. Look at the Browns, man. I can't imagine being a Cleveland Browns fan. They find ways to fuck things up. It's amazing. That's the most dysfunctional. It's got to be the most dysfunctional franchise in the NFL. It's got to be.
I won't argue with the Browns, but I mean, it's got to be the Browns or the Lions, right?
Listen, the Browns just signed a guaranteed contract to Deshaun Watson. Okay, now I know what Deshaun was before the sexual assault charges or whatever, the civil suits. Okay, so Deshaun sits out a year. He's going to be suspended almost this entire year. You don't know what he looks like when he comes back. They signed him to a guaranteed contract. It's fucking crazy. It is fucking, they're stupid as shit. Now, I think Deshaun will be pretty good when he gets back, but is he going to be like he was before he left? 2 years off? That's a long time, man. That's a long time. The Browns are fucking stupid. They are stupid. They're a terrible organization. But I don't really care.
I mean, the Jets had Sanchez, and outside of that, they've been abysmal.
Sanchez sucked balls too.
They got to the AFC Championship twice with him.
It was all defense and run. It was very similar to what the Ravens do. They had a
no. I agree with you. I'm just saying, like they did get to the AFC Championship twice, and then they've been dog shit outside of that.
You're gonna say Browns, Lions, Jets. I'm good with all those teams being.
I am too. The Jets, at least the Jets have tried. I mean, they have a history where they won. You know, they had that some winning times. Cleveland, man. I mean, I don't think Cleveland's ever been to a Super Bowl. They were close until John Elway snatched their fucking hearts out with the drive. And then then again the next year, the Browns had the Broncos beat again, and they fucking fumbled going into the end zone to win the game. It was unbelievable. The Browns, man, they're
just a losing franchise.
If I'm a fucking Cleveland fan, I just fucking move. I move and to a city that has a team. I adopt a new team, and I lie about where I ever lived. I'm like, yeah, I've never lived in Cleveland.
Ohio is just a shitty place. Like I drive.
That's what I was just about to say. Is have you guys been there?
I've never been. Like, why the fuck would you go there? But I drive through Ohio every year when I'm going to Indiana, and it's just so dark and gloomy.
Yep.
Like, what kind of people live there?
It's always overcast, and it's just fucking empty. That place is a shithole.
Jamie told me that when he drives to the Notre Dame football games, he always drives at night. Now he's saying every time he drives through Ohio, it's always fucking dark. How fucking stupid are you?
And now you know. No, I'm
so fucking dumb.
No, when I come home, it's during the day. So when I drive there, I drive Thursday night. When I come home, Sunday morning. Ohio is a piece of shit.
Ohio is dog shit.
You ever been to Arkansas?
Yeah, dog shit.
I have for work. Arkansas was nice.
Arkansas was ugly.
At least Arkansas has like scenery and shit.
Yeah.
Ohio has nothing.
I don't know what part of fucking Arkansas you were in. The part I was in Benson, Texarkana. I've been all down that way, driving from Tennessee to Texas.
I can't remember what the town was called. It was close to Little Rock though.
Yeah, that's where I was close to Little Rock. It was ugly as shit, man.
It's nice. Arkansas is known for like the beautiful
cliffs and shit.
Yeah, cliffs and trails and trees and greenery.
Get the fuck out of here. Where'd you read that? In an Arkansas pamphlet?
Maybe. But listen, there's nowhere worse than Ohio.
Arkansas is worse.
I'll say Nebraska might have been worse. We stayed in Lincoln when we drove to Denver, and Lincoln was nice. The entire state outside of that just smelled like cow shit. So
it was probably cow shit.
It absolutely was. I mean,
yeah, I mean, you can't really blame them for that. I mean,
you're in the country.
Yeah, you can't really cover that
up. Shit.
I will say one place I went and it was nothing but fucking drunks and assholes was Knoxville. No, I'm just playing.
Fuck that. Fuck that. Tennessee is beautiful. I'll tell you another place that I've been that was really pretty was Connecticut. I didn't get to see a lot of it, but it was a nice drive up there. I was on my way when I played the World Series of Poker up there. I drove through, and that was a pretty state to drive through.
Was that a flex?
Yeah.
No, I want to say I've been to Knoxville a couple times, and it was nice. And Neyland Stadium was awesome. So I was just joking about Knoxville, but there are a ton of fucking hillbillies there.
Who gives a fuck?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not hating.
That's how we get down.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Speaking of hillbillies, did you see the post-game interview with Sam Pickett, or is that his name? Pickett, the Arkansas coach?
Pittman.
Sam Pittman. They said, "What are you gonna have to drink after the game today?" And he goes, "I'm not promoting it, but I like a cold beer." I fucking love him. I love him.
Good for him.
Yeah,
there was another. I think it might have been the SEC pregame show with. They had John. What's the golfer's name?
John Daly.
That shit was great. And his
did you see when they asked him a question? And he was like, "I'm not gonna lie, I'm drunk." He just flat out said, "Like, I'm fucking drunk."
Good for him.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Look, they brought I think it's Lauren Rutledge is the female analyst that's on there. So she came up behind him So he was talking to the guy. She comes up behind him and taps him on the shoulder. He turned around, and before he even knew who the hell it was, he was like, "Where you been all my life, beautiful?" Oh my gosh. I love John Daly, man. He's fun. He don't give a fuck. He showed up in shorts and Crocs. Like, I love it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how the SEC operates because John Daly can get away with that, but Coach O just says hello to a woman at a gas station. He loses his job.
He didn't just say hello, man. He was in Deshaun Watson mode.
Yeah,
Hello.
I know.
Yeah, way to frame it that way when he's walking up to a pregnant woman with a fucking boner.
Right. And then he finds out she's pregnant and married, and he's like, fuck it.
And he can't even say fuck it. He's like, okay.
Right.
Cookie Monster. All right. Next is Browns. We got way off fucking track. Browns, Panthers. I got Browns. Earl's got Panthers. Zach's got Browns. Jamie's got Panthers. I thought we all picked the same teams, but we got a lot split. I picked the Browns just because I think they both suck. I just picked the Browns just because.
Yeah, I took the Panthers. I think Baker, I think this is definitely a game where he's going to play his fucking heart out. And then also Christian McCaffrey is healthy for once, so we might actually see him play.
McCaffrey will sprain his ankle walking into the stadium.
Yeah, but right now he's listed as a full go. So, and then, I mean, the Browns, Brissett's a good backup quarterback, but for him to be leading your team, I know they got Nick Chubb and they have a good defense, but I just think it's a statement game for Baker Mayfield. And I actually, when Baker, 2 years ago when he was playing for the Browns, he actually was a good quarterback. Last year he played pretty injured and he had a bad season, obviously, but a lot of people are writing him off. And I'm not ready to write Baker off yet. So I might be in the minority, but I think he has a good game and the Panthers win.
Yeah, I can't believe anyone ever had faith in Baker Mayfield. He was a total fucking asshole in college, and you knew it was going to get worse in the pros. And he's out there telling people to suck his dick and fuck off, and he was out of control. He's a complete head case.
That's normal behavior in the NFL, though.
Yeah, but when those dudes do it in college, it's a bad sign for what's coming in the NFL. That's true, man. When you see that on the field bullshit in college, you got big problems when they get to the NFL. And what they've talked about is that he's not well liked in the NFL.
Yeah, I know.
How do you play with a guy like that? If your teammates don't respect, I don't know if they do or don't. But if you keep, to lead, to be a leader, I mean, the guys have to respect you and want to play with you, want to play for you. I don't know. I mean, I'm not done with Baker. I think he can play. I've always thought he was a gamer. But so I'm not convinced that he's going to be a bust at this point. It ain't looking good so far. That's for sure. And I'm not really convinced that he's going to be really good, but I do think you make a good point about him wanting to get some redemption against the Browns. That's a good thought. I mean, McCaffrey, he really might get hurt in warmups, man. He stays injured. So I'm not putting any faith in him either. I don't know. The Panthers just aren't very good. I just roll with the Browns.
Yeah, this is definitely. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I like Brissett too. Brissett's quarterback of the Browns, and I like Brissett. I think he's a pretty solid quarterback. I think he's smooth. I like him in that game more than Baker, to be honest.
Yeah, this is a game where I definitely wouldn't put any money on it, but I think the Panthers organization is just horrendous. Their team has been irrelevant since they lost in the Super Bowl. They just fucking plummeted. Like, it's like they're not even trying.
I don't know. I don't think that's true. I think they've tried to make some moves. They've tried to draft okay. It's not worked out so far. I mean, Sam Darnold was a pretty high draft pick. He just sucks. I mean, it happened. They got McCaffrey. They've made some moves. They parted ways with Cam. As soon as he dropped off, they didn't hold on to him too long, like Pittsburgh did with Roethlisberger, or some of these organizations do with players where they hold them too long. I think they're trying to make some moves. They're just not working out so far. I don't know. I'm not convinced that the organization is that bad, but the team's not good right now. But that's my thing. Next is Colts Texans. We all got the Colts, so let's just keep. Texans really aren't good. Giants Titans. We all got the Titans. Giants aren't very good. Packers Vikings. We all got the Packers. I think that's an interesting game. I want to see if the Vikings can score some points. And Packers going to be playing without Devontae Adams. So
I mean, we all pick the Packers, but if the Vikings win that game, I'm not surprised. They have a ton of talent on offense,
yeah,
so definitely not a automatic win for the Packers. It's going to be a good game.
yeah, I think it is too. I think the Packers are in for a long season, to be honest. I mean, Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks ever. I don't like him. I'm not a fan, but he's one of the I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I think he's one of the best all time at that position. But they just the Packers, you talk about organizations, they really never put a team around him to win since that Super Bowl. So, and I don't think they get better now that they paid him all that money. So I think they're a good team, not a great team. Chiefs, Cardinals. I got the Cardinals. Earl Chiefs. Zach Chiefs. Jamie Chiefs. I picked the Cardinals because I like Kyler Murray. I like the Cardinals team. The Chiefs lost Tyreek. I want to see how they kind of transition out of that. I know it's only one player, but I'm curious to see how the Chiefs get underway. They started out last season really shitty. So I want to see kind of how they get out of the gates here. I like the Cardinals. I think they play tough early, and I think they get the Chiefs here in a home game.
Yeah, the Chiefs, like you said, they started out pretty rough last year. I don't think you see that this year with all of the, with Tyreek leaving. I think Mahomes feels like he has a lot to prove, and there's a lot of new players there that are also trying to make a statement. I think they get off to a good start with a win here. And then also you got to remember the Cardinals, D-Hop is out for 6 games to start the season. So they don't have their number one target. Their number one target is probably going to be Hollywood Brown if he's not suspended for speeding. What was he?
Is that in the cards? Are they seriously talking about a suspension, or are you just joking? Because Ravens
I was just joking because there was so much outrage that he was speeding.
And yeah, with the Ravens fans, yeah, they're kick him out.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Raiders, Chargers. I got the Raiders. Earl Chargers, Zach Raiders, you Raiders. So Earl's the only one with the Chargers. I don't know. It's a 50-50 game.
Yeah, I agree. It's another one of those. If you pick the Chargers, I don't have any beef with that. This was a hard game for me to pick. I like what the Raiders are doing. I like Derek Carr. I've always thought that he was better than people give him credit for. Obviously, they got Devontae Adams now. They've always had Jacobs at running back, Waller at tight end. They're pretty loaded on offense. The Chargers also, they have a really good roster as well. So I mean, it's a 50-50 game, like you said.
Yeah. Not a. It should be a good game. I'm not going to be surprised off the Chargers when I actually didn't remember picking the Raiders. If I could do it over again, I'd probably pick the Chargers. But since I'm down on paper, I'm going to keep it.
Do you think the AFC West is locked in for the Chiefs or open?
No, I think it's wide open with Russell Wilson going to Denver. I think Denver's going to be much improved. The Chargers are a good team. They haven't really been able to get over the hump yet, but the Chargers are a good team. They can score. The Raiders are a pretty good team.
That's the one division that I would say is the hardest to pick the winner. Like all those teams could legitimately win that division.
Yeah, I'm definitely not sold. I'm definitely
No.
not sold on the Chiefs.
You don't think the Raiders could win that division?
I don't think so. I think the Raiders are the worst of the 4, but I think they're a good team. I think when you look at that division top to bottom, it's the best division. Oh. But I do think the Raiders are the worst team in that division, which is not an insult. I think it's a really competitive division.
Maybe they bring Gruden back.
Yeah.
So he can call Goodell a pussy again.
Yeah. I think Gruden might have burned his bridge.
Did you guys see? He spoke publicly. Did you guys see that?
No. I heard that he did. He's trying to come back.
Yeah, he said that he believes he's a good person. He said something like, "I'm a husband, a father. I go to church." So like he was really making a case to come back. I think the ship has sailed for the NFL. Like I don't think they would ever let him back in.
No chance.
As long as Goodell's in charge, for sure. No,
there's no chance. He's done.
Jamie, did you watch that documentary about the NBA ref or no?
Hold on, before you do that NBA ref thing, we got the last game.
Okay.
Last game is Broncos Seahawks. We all got the Broncos except for Zach Seahawks with
What?
Geno Smith at quarterback.
You picked the Seahawks?
Yeah.
That's the
You want-
worst pick. That is the worst. Is that a just cuz?
They're at
That's-
home.
They're at home.
I'm not fucking sold on Russell Wilson in Denver, so we'll see.
It's not
But you're
like they
still
play
on-
in the House of Loud. What are
Hold
you
on.
talking about?
Hold on. You said you're not sold on Russell Wilson, but you're cool with Geno Smith? Okay.
I'm not cool with him. It's one game, bitch.
You're fucking crazy. The Seahawks might be the next team to go 0-17.
And look, I wanted to pick a couple upsets, so that's one of them.
That's not one of them. That's the worst. That is the worst pick of this show. Worst pick.
It's pretty bad.
I picked Duke.
It's a fucking rivalry game.
Fuck
A
off.
rivalry game.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Seattle's in the NFC.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, this is the worst pick of the day. It's not cool.
We'll see.
I gotta admit, it's pretty bad. Seahawks get rolled. Russell Wilson's gonna roll those motherfuckers.
I'll be honest. I saw you guys all pick Denver, so I was like, fuck it, I'll pick the upset.
There's not a game. I don't think there's a game this season where I pick the Seahawks. I don't care who they're playing.
Yeah, not with Geno Smith at quarterback. There's no way. No way.
Did
No
you skip
fucking-
did you skip the Bucks and Cowboys?
Oh, I did.
He did.
Actually. Yeah. So Bucks Cowboys. We all got the Bucks. Jamie got the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm not a believer in the Bucks this year. I know they're saying that this is their best team yet and all this shit, but at some point, Tom Brady has to fucking not be great. He's 45 years old, and they have lost some key players to their team. They've lost some players on defense, and then they're two. I don't know if Evans is 100% healthy or not, but I know that the other wide receiver is not.
Godwin is still coming back from the.
Godwin's not healthy. They're still trying to figure out the tight end position. I wouldn't be
They
surprised.
picked up Julio Jones.
Don't give a fuck. He's also old as fuck.
He's still fucking good. I like Julio.
What do you think the Cowboys are going to be this year? Just, for perspective.
I think the Cowboys are going to have some issues too. I think the Eagles win that division. I've said that before, but I think the Bucks have some real question marks. And then obviously Todd Bowles is going into his first year as their coach. There's a lot of things that have changed from the Super Bowl team that they were. So, and Tom Brady's 45 fucking years old, man. Like at some point he has to not be.
All right, cool it, Max Kellerman.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Are you really going down that fucking road?
What
You're
is
just going to start predicting the fall off. That's what Max Kellerman did for years. And then when Tom Brady went to the Super Bowl, I don't even want to talk about it. Max Kellerman pisses me off. I can't stand it.
But it happens to everybody, right? It happens to Drew. It happened to Drew Brees. It happened to Peyton Manning. These guys, they can't play forever. And Tom Brady's 45.
Yeah, but Tom Brady sold his soul to the devil. So.
No, that's Nick Saban. Listen, Tom Brady.
Yeah, they're hanging out together.
I think that Tom Brady is good enough, and this is why I believe in Tom Brady. He is the GOAT, but I think that he's good enough and smart enough to adjust to what his age is, what his limitations are. I don't think he's the kind of guy that's going to try to force balls when he can't do it anymore, or throw a ball that he can't throw. He'll take the safe pass. He'll do the short pass. He'll manage the game if he needs to manage the game. I think he's a smart enough, just like Michael Jordan. When Michael Jordan started to get older, he adjusted his game to the limitations, and he remained great. That's what Brady's doing. I think that's what he'll continue to do. Don't be that fucking dude that every year says, "Oh, this is the year Tom Brady's going to fall off the foot." Oh, this is the year Tom. I mean, shut the fuck up. Wait till it happens.
No, I'm not the guy. I've always been, well, not always, but here recently, I've given Tom Brady all the credit. Like I acknowledge him as the GOAT, and the shit that he's done in his career is amazing. So I'm not that guy that says this is the year. But this year I am saying this is the year. But
How the fuck do you say you're not that guy? But this year I'm that guy.
Oh, you said that the guy that says it every year. This is the first year I'm saying it.
Okay, well that means you got to say it next year too. Because
we're finally, I'm on record now. So you don't know what I did last year, but this is the first year that I've said Tom Brady's going to have a drop off. There's also some offensive line issues. They've had some guys retire or go to different teams. They're dealing with some injuries. So you have a non-mobile quarterback with a shoddy offensive line. And then I know Tom Brady was away from the team for a couple weeks, not a big deal. But when he came back at that press conference, did you guys see him?
Yeah, he looked like a goddamn ghoul.
Yeah, he looked a little rough. Like, I don't know what's going on in his personal life, and I would never, speculate or hope for something bad to be happening to him. But it's just it doesn't look good. Things don't seem right, like how it's always been.
I agree. I think there's been a lot of controversy about him coming because he took that leave and then he came back. But we don't know what the fuck that's about, man. The dude is 45. Who knows what the fuck's going on? But there's nothing that's ever happened in his career that would make me question his ability to prepare for a season. And so until I see that drop off, or until I see that he's just not preparing the way he used to, so he comes in unprepared, like he's a dude that's shown that he knows how to prepare for a season.
Yeah, but when Peyton Manning went to the Broncos, his first season there, he fucking lit it up. I think he broke like every record. Like he was, and then that last year that he played, he just he couldn't throw the ball anymore. Like it happened overnight. So it's bound to happen.
Yeah. All right, that's a wrap till we do it again. Good luck this week with the teams, and we'll catch up.